Hello, you're watching New Vision TV News with me, Ruth Inasejo. We take a look at our top stories from the news around Uganda. Uganda Airlines makes inaugural flight, and also police releases ZIGY WYNE CCTV footage. And from Buvuma district, high school dropouts worry leaders. In the news around East Africa, Kenya marks the 9th anniversary of the Constitution today amid calls of a referendum for change of a constitution. In our news around the world, we will see Tripoli-based unity government repels attack by forces of Eastern strongman KHALIFA HAFTAR. In our special report today, it is 20 years since the Uganda king wedded Nabagereka Sylvia Najinda. New Vision TV goes down memory lane of the unforgettable royal wedding. Hello, you're watching New Vision TV News. I am Ruth Inasejo, broadcast from the New Vision newsroom. We'll take a look at the news around Uganda. First, we start from Entebbe. At 10 minutes past midday, the Uganda Airlines took off from Entebbe International Airport to Jomo Kenyatta Airport in Nairobi. This took the airline an hour after the scheduled time. On board were cabinet ministers, members of parliament, journalists and sports personalities. This inaugural route will be followed by a commercial maiden flight scheduled for tomorrow, as confirmed by the Uganda Airlines commercial director Jennifer Bamturaki. 2 daily flights are scheduled for Nairobi and Juba, and 1 daily flight to Kilimanjaro Airport in Dar es Salaam, which will be plied by 4 Bombardier CRJ-900 aircraft, 2 of which arrived in the country on April 24th. The other destination is Mogadishu. In April this year, 2 of the Bombardier CRJ-900 planes that were ordered from Canada touched down in Entebbe International Airport.
I'm glad that you colleagues and some of us have had the opportunity and honor to be associated with this great day. We will always remember it, and the country will always remember it, when our national airline took to the skies.
Let's move down to Kampala, where police has released the closed-circuit television footage of artist Alinda Michael, commonly known as ZIGY WYNE, showing how he was dropped by Good Samaritans at Mulago National Referral Hospital before his demise last month. Police spokesperson Freddie Nanga said the footage was obtained by security cameras that captured moments under which ZIGY was transported on a boda to Mulago Hospital on July 21st by 2 helpers. Explaining the footage, Enaga said the first footage was captured by fixed cameras at Mulago Market, commonly known as Kukasawe, on July 21st at around 8:11 p.m. Earlier reports had indicated that ZIGY was allegedly kidnapped by unknown people and later dumped at the gate of Mulago National Referral Hospital after he was tortured. However, Enanga, while addressing journalists, gave a different account of what transpired and paraded witnesses to corroborate. Still in Kampala, concerned citizen has dragged the police director of engineering and logistics, Godfrey Bangirana, to the High Court over refusing to vacate the office. Yesterday, Isaac Mando sued Bangirana alongside the Attorney General, seeking the court declaration that Bangirana's continued stay in office after the expiry of his contract is illegal and unlawful. Bangirana has acted and worked as the police officer at the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police and Director Engineering and Logistics on a 2-year contract. Court documents indicate that on July 16, 2018, the contract of Bangirana expired and he was directed by his boss, the police chief, Okoth Ochola, to hand over and vacate office. Mando asserts that Bangirana did not hand over office, and further that the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Benon Mutambi, directed the officer to remain in office though his contract had expired. News coming in from Jinja as President Yoweri Museveni was embarking on his journey to Japan. The Japanese ambassador, His Excellency Kamenda Kazuaki, was officially opening a course in heavy engineering equipment at Uganda Rapid Development Capacity Center in Jinja. The course is aimed at enhancing UPDF's capacity in operating heavy equipment whenever deployed in any mission around the world. Ambassador Kamenda, in his remarks while opening the course, revealed that this is the first ever Japan military cooperation extended to Uganda with its troops on ground. The UPDF officers will be trained by 22 Japanese army instructors from the Japanese Engineering and Transport Unit. The course is scheduled for 3 months, and thereafter the officers will be handed over to the UPDF leadership for possible deployment into the UN mission across the world. News coming in from Lira District. Activities leading to the 2020-2021 general elections are yet to start, with the Electoral Commission set to start demarcating and reorganizing the polling stations. Speaking at a workshop in Lira Municipality, the Electoral Commission Commissioner Haji Sebagala Chigozi stated that the activity will start in September.
Legal framework for demarcation of electoral areas and the reorganization of polling stations. This is an exercise that is going to take place very soon. The Commission is mandated under Section 10, 23, 108, 109, and 110 of the Local Government Act to demarcate electoral areas for representation.
Sebagala said political parties are free to engage in dialogue with the Electoral Commission so as not to have any misunderstandings.
Make sure we inform you of all our stakeholders accordingly. Every activity that will be coming on board from us, we shall be informing you. We shall try our best to inform you in time, so that we also prepare ourselves in time, so that we have a harmonized system.
Closing off the news around Uganda is a story from Buvuma district, where leaders are worried about the increasing rate of school dropouts on the islands. Raymond Mugunda, the senior education officer in Buvuma district, attributed the challenge to lack of secondary schools in the district. He said Buvuma district, which is comprised of 52 sub-islands, has only 2 secondary schools, which are all located on the mainland. He said the 2 secondary schools include a new government-aided seed school in Nairobi sub-county, which started operating this year with over 210 students, all in Senior 1 and Senior 2. The second one is Buvuma College School, which has over 350 students. It started A-level about 2 years ago. We now move on to news around the East African region. We start from Kenya. It is exactly 9 years since Kenya's constitution was promulgated at Uhuru Park during a colorful ceremony presided over by then-President Mwai Kibaki. The Star Kenya's newspaper quotes Kamotho Waiganjo, former Constitution Implementation Commission member, saying, "We have been faithful, leave alone implementing the letter, but the spirit of the Constitution." The newspaper reports Waiganjo citing delays in the release of funds to counties, a failure to enact the 2/3 gender rule, and to comply with the provisions on leadership and integrity as testimonies to poor implementation of the Supreme Law. Kenya marks the 9th anniversary of the Constitution today, amid calls for a referendum to change the Constitution. Some of the proposed changes are creation of the office of the Prime Minister and 2 Deputy Prime Ministers. It is widely believed the opposition leader Raila Odinga is pushing for the referendum to amend the Constitution to pave way for the creation of the 3 posts. Let's move on to Tanzania. A decision to repatriate Burundi refugees is about to be implemented. Last year, Tanzania, Burundi and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees agreed to move the refugees from various camps in Kigoma back home. The UNHCR seems to be dragging its feet, prompting the two countries to consider doing it without the UN agency. Daily News, Tanzania's government newspaper, quotes Kangi Lugola, the Minister of Home Affairs, saying repatriation without UNHCR participation is likely. We close from Southeast Sudan. President Salva Kiir has urged his country's citizens residing in Uganda to return home and participate in the implementation of the revitalized peace accord. Salva Kiir made the remarks at the end of his two-day state visit to Uganda. Uganda hosts Africa's largest refugee population, 1.25 million people, with 2/3 having fled conflict in South Sudan. We move on to news around the world. From Mozambique, the head of Rwanda's Diaspora Association in Mozambique was killed in an ambush on Monday. Police said, raising speculation the assassination may have been politically motivated. 3 armed men ambushed and opened fire on Luis Baziga, 47 years, as he drove out of a shop in Aboni district of Mozambique's capital, Maputo. Mozambique's police department has said. Now, in 2014, Patrick Karegeya, once a confidant of Rwandan President Paul Kagame but fell out with him, got killed in neighboring South Africa, where he lived in exile. Moving on to Libya, militias loyal to Libya's Tripoli-based unity government say they repelled an attack Monday by forces of Eastern strongman KHALIFA HAFTAR on a strategic town southeast of the capital. HAFTAR launched an offensive on Tripoli in early April, setting up a rare command center in BANGIRANA, some 100 kilometers southeast of the capital. News from Cameroon. Thousands of Cameroonians have fled the country's Anglophone provinces, the United Nations and activists said on Monday, after separatists sparked fears of an escalation in violence with a call for dead city protests. Cameroon's armed forces have been battling a separatist movement since 2017 in fighting that has killed nearly 2,000 and forced hundreds of thousands from their homes. A military court in Cameroon on Tuesday handed a life sentence to the head of the country's Anglophone separatist movement, Julius Sisiku Ayuktabe, in a move that analysts said could inflame the 22-month-old revolt. We end the news around the world from China. Beijing on Tuesday voiced strong dissatisfaction with a joint statement issued by the G7 leaders who backed Hong Kong's autonomy and called for calm after months of civil unrest. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zheng Chang at a press briefing in Beijing said, "We express our strong dissatisfaction and resolute opposition to the statement made by the leaders of the G7 summit on Hong Kong affairs." G7 leaders meeting in France on Monday backed Hong Kong's autonomy as laid out in the 1985 agreement between Britain and China and called for calm in the protest-hit city. Beijing has repeatedly accused foreign governments of interfering over Hong Kong and China. That is it for the news around the world. We now take a short break, but when we come back, we'll take a look at the news in business.